The prime suspect in the murder of businesswoman Monica Kimani, Joseph Irungu, is set to face a murder in the first-degree charge early next week. The DCI, which has been investigating the case, now says they have sufficient evidence to convict Irungu on the charge that carries a death or life sentence. Prosecution also wants to consolidate the cases, present the suspect in court for a plea hearing. NTV's Brenda Wanga reports that these developments come as television journalist Jacque Maribe has samples taken for DNA testing.
The 10 days that the courts granted the prosecution to probe Joseph Irungu's possible involvement in the gruesome murder of business lady Monica Kimani elapsed on Sunday. But Joseph Irungu, alias Joey, will not be leaving state custody just yet. Irungu will be presented to court for the second time in just over a week. This time round, the prosecution will be bringing a first-degree murder charge against the suspect.
We must balance the rights.
The prosecution is convinced that it has gathered sufficient evidence to sustain this charge. Amongst the evidence the state has in its arsenal include conclusive DNA and fingerprint test results that place him at the victim's Lemuria Gardens home in Kilimani, where she was found murdered. The prosecution also recovered partly burnt pieces of clothing believed to have been worn by the suspect on the night of the murder. But it just isn't the first-degree murder charge that Irungu has to worry about. The state will also want to hold him accountable for bearing false witness. In the aftermath of the murder, he presented himself to the police with a bullet wound that he said had been inflicted by unknown people. It has since been established that he shot himself in what his fiancée says was a suicide attempt. While the prosecution prepares to charge Irungu, they are also turning their attention to the third suspect arrested in the case, Brian Kasaine. Sources at the DCI intimate that they have a concrete case against Kasaine in relation to the murder case. Already, Kasaine is in custody pending investigations that have been centered on a gun used in the shooting of Irungu. He is expected to submit his samples for DNA testing as well between Sunday and Monday. The Central Firearms Bureau has confirmed that Kasaine was in possession of the gun illegally. The license issued to Kasaine to own the gun had expired in 2016 and hadn't been renewed for use in 2017 and 2018. Jacque Maribe has also had her samples taken today as detectives try to establish whether she was at the scene of the murder that fateful Thursday. She is also likely to be held accountable for giving false statements to the police in regards to the shooting of a fiancé and trying to cover up the same incident. The cases will now be taken over by Nairobi starting next week. Brenda Wanga, NTV.